Well, this will be interesting. Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of a series I'm calling Let's Paint. And the whole thing about this is, this is gonna suck. Bear with me. I've never done this kind of thing, so we're gonna grow together with this. So the whole point about this show is kind of simple. It's not a tutorial, it's not really educational. What it is, basically, I'm just going to be painting, telling some stories, giving some tips, blah blah blah. I've always looked for a channel kind of like this and I couldn't find anything. Most channels I've found are either very tutorial based or they're very just, I don't know, none of them were ever my cup of tea. But this is here for you to watch, throw it on in the background, who cares? But anyway, welcome to episode number, that is 2. Welcome to episode number 1. This one is called The Joey Diaz Story, because, you know, why not start off with a bang? Let's get the freaking plastic off. Okay, so I'm gonna get right into it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Whenever I paint, I don't really have a idea in mind. Well, sometimes I do for like my larger, more complicated stuff. If I do smaller stuff, kind of like this one that I did a while ago, this one I had no idea. I just know I wanted a bright background, my signature character, and I don't know, some writing, clouds, whatever. Okay, let's get the story started and start with this. Okay, so how this story came about was that one day I was just, I was kind of just hanging out at home, and my buddy, who actually I call him my brother because I've known this kid for a long time, since 7th grade, and we are both fans of a very certain comedian named Joey Diaz. And if you don't know Joey Diaz,
I don't want no hard ice cream. I'm a Carvel anyway, you know what I'm saying? That hard ice cream.
He is we'll just call him a character, because that man is a larger than life like you wouldn't believe. He is amazing. He's a super talented comedian. Nonetheless, I was hanging out at home one day and my buddy calls me. He goes, "Dude, you see what Joey posted on Twitter? He's gonna do a meet and greet in Staten Island, New York." I'm like, that's cool. We live in New York State, nowhere near Staten Island. In fact, nowhere near the 5 boroughs, nowhere near New York City. Anyway, it was kind of some back and forth. I was like, I don't really know if I want to do this. And after a while, we kind of just decided, like, whatever, we're gonna go. Why not? Actually, the exact words my buddy used was, "Dude, think of the dad lore." Okay. So fast forward some time, I started thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm an artist. This is probably gonna be the only opportunity I'm gonna have to meet someone like Joey, and probably the only time I'll ever meet Joey Diaz. Probably not, but wishful thinking, right? So anyway, I want to make him something. So I sat down, I made a painting for him, and it was pretty simple. It looks nothing like how my art does now, because I've evolved since then. I've changed some stuff up, kept some of the original stuff, but I made him a painting, and I made like a video about it, and after that, it was go time. So cut to the next day, my buddy texts me, he goes, "I'm on my way." And I'm like, all right, no problem. By the way, this is at 7 in the morning. And I know that doesn't seem early for a lot of people, but for someone who hates waking up before 9 a.m. at the minimum, it was awful. So I'm waiting outside, my buddy comes by, hop in the car, and we're going, and we're like, we kind of want to get a snack, because why not? So we stop at the gas station, we get the food, and then we're on our way. We're on our merry journey to the land of Staten Island. I'll be honest, the drive from where we are all the way there is pretty easy. It's not a difficult drive. It's just really long for driving, and we noticed like, oh, we gotta get gas. Oh, we're in Pennsylvania, because that's the route the GPS took us. It started us from here, and for some reason took us all the way down to Pennsylvania, and then was that left or a hard this direction right to New Jersey. So now we're in Pennsylvania, and we're stopping, we stopped to get some gas. We're on our way to Staten Island from Syracuse, New York, on the road to see Uncle Joey. Where are we?
Somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And when I tell you that this random town that we ended up in was it was borderline uncomfortable just to breathe the air there. What a happy guy. So anyway, as we're in this town, we stop at a gas station. Literally, I am not joking. I have proof of this. This gas station was literally just named Sig Vape. So whatever, we said goodbye to Sig Vape and continued our ride. After that fun visit, the ride was incredibly easy until we got to New Jersey. Now, up until this moment, I thought the Jersey Slide was a myth. And if you're not familiar with what the Jersey Slide is, it is something only absolute monsters do. Wish I was exaggerating, I am not. We saw a Jersey Slide 5 lanes across the second our rear tires went over the state line. And after that, it was nothing but just utter driving hell.
And after an incredible time on the turnpike, I don't know if you can tell how red my face is.
Yeah, Jersey was very stressful. We go over the bridge, and I'm like looking out the scenery. I can see the city from like across the water and whatever. So boom, after that, we finally get through the turnpike. We get over that awful bridge, and I look at my GPS, and all it says is 30 minutes, and you're at the Staten Island Mall.
And after a while, we have made it to Staten Island.
And then we pull into the Staten Island Mall. I'm convinced that the Staten Island Mall is the world's greatest optical illusion. You stand outside of it, you would think that this place is like the Mall of America. It looks absolutely ginormous. I am not on Staten Island, but it was the most underwhelming mall. The only good part was the food court. The meet and greet started at, I believe, 4:30, 5 o'clock. We left really early so we can get there because we're like, oh, we're gonna go explore the mall, freaking maybe do some shopping, finally meet Uncle Joey, because he was doing his meet and greet at a Barnes & Noble that was in that mall. Maybe an hour and a half to look through the entire mall. Not a single thing was bought. So fast forward a little bit, we get some food, we're kind of just hanging out, and we realize we're gonna be here for a while. We have another 4-something hours to kill until this meet and greet starts. Finally, we get back to the Barnes & Noble where the meet and greet is happening. And also, this is a personal message to Staten Island Mall. Why isn't the Barnes & Noble that it's attached to the mall not have an entrance inside the mall? I swear to God, it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. To get to the Barnes & Noble in that mall, you had to go outside and around and go through the front entrance of the Barnes & Noble. Like, it wasn't attached to the mall at all. What can you do? I'm not an architect. I can barely draw as it is. So we get inside this Barnes & Noble, and again, we are really early. We have maybe another 3.5 hours to kill. When I tell you no time was killed, because the Barnes & Noble was so small, we got through it in about, I want to say 30 minutes. Adding shadows. So finally, we kind of just decide, like, listen, this isn't going to start for a while. Let's just like grab a seat and just wait. The entire time we are sitting there just trying to guess what entrance is this man going to come out of, because we want to be first in line so we can get there quick, say hi to Joey, and then we can leave. So we're sitting there for a while. We are sitting, seconds feel like days. We really should have planned better. So we're sitting down, and I see that the time is slowly approaching kind of close, that when the meet and greet's gonna start. Love making shadows, this isn't tedious at all. We're still sitting there, we're like, okay, time is, slowly approaching. Just rewind for a second. When we were walking around, we saw an area set up that had like a chair and a table. We're like, oh cool, the meet and greet's gonna be there. That's perfect. So we managed to sit close, and we're kind of sitting down, and we're like deep in conversation at this point. And then I'm like, I think this thing might be kind of, starting really soon. We both stupidly came to the conclusion, we're like, nah, we got some time, we can just still chill. We were wrong, because by the time we stood up to get our place in line, we were projected to be first. We were 30th in line. That's how quickly this line grew. From like 2 minutes, it went from to. So now we're waiting in line, and you can just hear commotion of it felt like the president was coming into town. You can hear commotion and like murmurs in line, like, where's Joey? And I'm just hanging out, and I'm looking at my buddy, and I'm like, I really wonder where the hell Joey's gonna be. Then out of nowhere, I just see some kid behind me just turn his head, and he just goes, oh hey Joey. And I'm like, huh? I turn my head, and he is just casually walking through the store. Like he just came out of some random back corner. So I'm sitting there, and I don't see like Joey completely walk by. I just kind of see the top of his head floating through the crowd. Now I'm internally like freaking out. I'm just nervous, man. There's no other way to put it. And it really hit me that it was him, because the second he sat down, all you hear booming from the other side of this big bookshelf where we were standing, where like the line wrapped around, was, yeah, he just yells, "What's up, you savages?" And I'm like, yeah, that's him. And then it started, and we can kind of see through the bookshelf, kind of like peering over the books and stuff, that he's like signing some people's books. You know what, his mouth is a little wonky, but who cares, it's my painting. So anyway, the whole time we're standing there, and the line's like very slowly moving, because the one thing I will say about Joey is that he made sure to give every single fan there like a solid opportunity to meet him, say hello, you know, stuff like that. I'm actually gonna choose a different marker for this. Anyway, line's moving, and the opportunity is getting like closer and closer and closer. And then finally, it's my buddy's turn to go up and meet Joey. So he's walking up to Joey. He hands the nice lady his phone so she can take a picture, and he's standing there. He just goes, "Oh, what's up, man? You know, big fan." Joey asks him, he goes, "Oh, so where are you from?" And then he looks at me. My buddy looks at me. He just goes, "Oh, it's me and my buddy Kenny. We drove all the way from central New York to get down here." And he goes, "Oh, so how's Syracuse these days?" And my buddy goes, "Oh, you know, it's fine. Has its, you know, quirks and stuff, but it's whatever." All Joey says is, "Yeah, I've only ever been there once. I bought weed in '89. Anyway, my buddy's thing is like he's all wrapped up. But the next person was me. My buddy didn't get a whole ton of footage, but he got just enough to where Joey's reaction to me giving him his painting was just mwah. All I can say is Joey liked the piece. But what he actually ended up saying was, he looks at me, he just goes, "Yeah, this one's going in the office." I'd be willing to bet money he didn't actually put that thing in any freaking office. But it's fine. He liked it. He saw it. That's all that I care about. Because I've never met a person of his caliber before. I've never met like a quote unquote like celebrity comedian. I've never met anyone like that. But I was just trying not to say or do anything embarrassing. Whatever. I'm droning on. But what you can't see behind that photo is Joey Diaz holding his own personal brand of blunt. He was holding my painting kind of like this, like facing the other way, and he just had it tucked behind his fingers like this marker. He looks at me and he just goes, "I appreciate the gift. This is for you." And I'm like, what the hell? And I look down and I'm like, oh. I'm like, that's freaking awesome. I look at him, I say thank you, and I walk off. And then I just hear him yell, "Hey!" And I'm like, oh God, what's happening? And then he's holding the book. I gave him the sign. He just goes, "Don't forget your book." I could have died right there on the spot, because I was trying so hard not to do anything embarrassing, and I was just so taken aback by the blunt he gave me that I forgot the freaking book on the table. And I walk away, and I'm like, maybe that's the end of it. And then I just hear him look towards the audience. He goes, "Freaking more, I forgot the book." And I'm like, okay, we gotta go.
Don't act like it's one size, this love, it just don't fit right. I wanted you to make time, make time. Don't act like it's one size, this love, it just don't fit right. I wanted you to make time, make time. Don't act like it's one size, this love, it just don't fit right. I wanted you to make time, make time. Don't act like it's one size, this love, it just don't fit right. I wanted you to make time, make time. Don't act like it's one size, this love, it just don't fit right. I wanted you to make time, make time. Don't act like it's one size, this don't act like it's one size. Don't act like it's one size, this don't act like it's one size. Don't act like it's one size, this don't act like it's one size, this don't act like it's one size. Don't act like it's one size, this love, it just don't fit right. Oh, don't act like it's one size, this 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 love, it just
Ready to see the most satisfying thing ever? With the big bore. I press it right up against the edge and just blew your freaking mind. And boom, doesn't that look so like uniform now? It almost looks like I am good at what I do. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this. I apologize if it's a little bit of a train wreck, but this is the very first one. I promise every single one after will be better and better because I'll get more comfortable. I'll get more, I guess, calm with the way I talk. I don't know. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one.